The hearing in the urgent application filed by South Africa's wealthiest woman, Magdalene Vierecka, will resume today. The proceeding was adjourned yesterday. Mzwanele Manyi's counsel, Vuyani Ngalwana, said they were not comfortable with acting Judge Fiona Dipinar assigned to the case, given her proximity to the applicants. Dipinar comes from the same group of chambers as David Unterhalter, Vierecka's counsel. Here's what transpired in the court. Manyi's counsel argued that acting Judge Dipinar has a conflict of interest and must rescue herself. But Vierecka's lawyer said judges could only rescue themselves if there is substantial reason. Manyi says the acting judge and Magdalena Vierecka's counsel are from the same group of chambers. But arguing for the applicant, David Unterhalter said that a collegiality exists between counsels from the same bar associations doesn't impact conduct in court. Manyi's counsel, Ngalwa, says the acting judge is Unterhalter's junior and may defer to her senior counsel. But Unterhalter insisted that there is no case that has been made out for the recusal.
Because when my senior counsel argued, correctly so, that the judge is likely to be biased given the fact that she's from the same firm as the opposing senior counsel. Not only that, she's also a junior to the senior counsel, and therefore justice is not about to be done or seen to be done in this particular instance. So, to cut to the chase, the judge said, well, if that is the case, make the objection in writing. So now the court has to stand down to allow the toing and froing between the two senior counsels. So by 4 o'clock today, my senior counsel must have already filed papers, and by 6 o'clock, the opposing must have happened from the opposition. And then if there's a need to reply to that, that reply must happen by 7 o'clock tonight. But the matter of whether the judge must hear the case or not is what is in the way of the actual case. And that now is going to happen tomorrow morning, I think around 9.
The row started over Vierecka's comments in an interview on CNBC Africa, where she offered to pay President Jacob Zuma to step down. Tweeting the link of the interview, Mzwanele Manyi said it was financial terrorism and must be investigated. Vierecka wants the court to direct Manyi to issue an unconditional apology and a retraction on social media. Manyi called it an attempt to muzzle alternate views using financial muscle. Vierecka's company, Signia, has 174 billion rands in assets under management. Here are some of the arguments standing before the court. Vierecka says Manyi is targeting her because she spoke against President Jacob Zuma and state capture. But Manyi says he's only resisting endeavors to have a democratically elected president bought off. The Signia CEO says Manyi's statements seek to resuscitate racial divides. Manyi argues that it's the applicant who is objectifying black people as commodities to be bought and sold. Vierecka alleges that Manyi's posts amount to defamation, harassment and hate speech. Manyi says the view that the president should be offered money to step down is the worst form of racial profiling. Vierecka claims the statements from Manyi seek to stifle her and her constitutional rights. But Manyi counters that it's Vierecka who has the financial power to bury views that do not accord with her own. Vierecka believes Manyi's posts are incendiary and an attempt to threaten, intimidate and silence her. Manyi argues that there is no credible instance of harm or threat to harm as a direct result of the tweets. He says there is nothing in the statements that is reasonably capable of inciting violence or the threat of violence. Vierecka says harassment by Manyi has made her hire security to protect her from the threats. Manyi suggests that Vierecka must proceed against those threatening her on Twitter. He says some of her fears are derived from unknown people whispering threatening messages amongst themselves.
When you talk about economic terrorism, it stems from the fact that an individual or group of individuals has the financial capacity to finance the overthrow of a government illegally. And that's where Manyi was coming in from the statement Vierecka made. Why, if this statement was made in the UK, the United States of America, or most developed economy, they will subpoena her to come and explain what she meant by that content. You cannot say, it's laughable, it's mockery to an individual who has been elected by majority of South Africans that you are willing to give money for him to step aside because of the damages he's done. No, that's uncalled for.